more than 2 weeks ago. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the attacks after an Israeli soldier was killed in Rafah. Hamas has denied involvement. U.S. President Donald Trump, who helped broker the truce, has defended the strikes, but he insists the ceasefire will hold. From the north to the south of Gaza, Israeli strikes hit homes, tents housing displaced Palestinians, and refugee camps. Rescue efforts had been underway to retrieve the bodies buried under the rubble. Okay, let's now speak to Rob Guyspinfold, who's a lecturer in international security at King's College London. Welcome back to Al Jazeera. Thanks for your time. From a security standpoint, how fragile is the ceasefire? Are we already seeing its collapse in real time?
Well, the ceasefire was fragile from day one. We know that both Israel and Hamas basically signed up, but under significant military or diplomatic duress. In both cases, their affirmation and signing up to the ceasefire was a yes, and both sides are hoping that the other will make the job easy for them and break the ceasefire and be blamed by the international community. So what we're seeing is this kind of game of chicken where both sides are trying to test each other's limits, test each other's boundaries, whilst also looking for the smoking gun that gives them the excuse to violate the ceasefire. That's what we've seen Israel doing in the last 24 hours. The fact that a soldier was killed in Rafah, we still don't know by whom. We still don't know whether this was ordered by Hamas or whether this was somebody else or a Hamas cell operating independently. But Israel has seized that opportunity to violate the ceasefire because this is what they wanted all along, though the Americans will be trying to rein them in, which is exactly what we've seen. The US saying that we expect Israel to respond, but in private they'll be telling the Israelis, we also expect you to stop.
But the thing is, when Washington says that the ceasefire is holding, despite almost 100 Palestinians in Gaza being killed, what does this reveal about how the U.S. sees this and how the U.S. sees stability?
The US wants quiet. As long as both parties sign up to the ceasefire and stay signed up for the ceasefire, then Trump can claim a victory and he can focus elsewhere. What we're seeing is Israel try and impose its own facts on the ground here. Israel has still not withdrawn from Gaza. It controls over 50% of the Gaza Strip directly and far more indirectly. What Israel has always been seeking to do is to basically transplant its model from Lebanon, where there is supposedly a ceasefire, but Israel has the right or the ability at least to act unilaterally against Hezbollah targets, striking regularly. It's still occupying parts of South Lebanon. So it's understandable why to many Palestinians in Gaza this might not look like an actual ceasefire and definitely not a peace plan, more an indefinite, prolonged occupation with no end in sight.
And looking ahead, what mechanisms, if any, could realistically enforce or monitor a ceasefire that, as you're saying, is breached almost daily? I mean, or is it just a matter of the U.S. telling the Israelis to stop?
That's exactly what we need right now. We need the US to say to the Israelis, they may be saying that in private, but also ideally in public, to say, stop, this cannot happen. This is where many of the regional powers with whom the US enjoys close relations, countries like Turkey, countries like the Gulf states, need to step in and say to the US, who will inevitably take their eye off the ball, they're a superpower, they focus elsewhere. Trump has a very, very short attention span.
The Palestinian militant group Hamas has denied claims that its fighters attacked Israeli troops in Gaza on Tuesday, insisting it remains committed to the ongoing US-brokered ceasefire with Israel. In a statement released on Tuesday, Hamas said, Hamas affirmed that it has no connection to the shooting incident in Rafah and affirmed its commitment to the ceasefire agreement. This response comes shortly after Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz accused Hamas of attacking Israeli forces in Gaza, but failed to provide details about the location or nature of the alleged assault. The latest exchange has sparked concern over the fragility of the ceasefire, which has been under strain, an isolated incident in mutual suspicions between both sides. Despite the tension, international mediators have continued urging restraints to prevent a return of full-scale hostilities in the region. Thanks for stopping by.